Hey everybody, welcome. I'm Zoe Ellis. Welcome. So basically, in this wonderful tarot card reading, this is going to be for individual for Aries as a fire sign, as a zodiac sign. This is going to be for September 5th to September 11th of 2025. So basically, in this wonderful reading, I just want to say to all that this is a very interesting, wonderful time of how it goes, and it's going to be for a well-being perspective of how it's going to be in that way because it's very interesting. This is going to be for how short and sweet it is. This is the way how it seems to be. This is going to be how the time passes. But this is how it goes. We have to understand to be alert of how it's going to be, and we have to understand of how it goes in that physical aspect. But the way how this is, we have to be uncertainty to understand that. This is how it goes. And when things to be in that perspective, that's all you can do. But then you have your own regulations. You have your own distinctives, whatever it is, but you have to understand that, right? That's how it goes. And when things to be in that perspective, you know how it goes in that way because you have your own temptation. You know what it is, but this is how it seems to be in that way, alright? So this oracle card, it says, blame. I accept responsibility for my well-being. So blame is like, this is how it goes, where you're blaming about yourself, maybe you're blaming about your emotions, maybe you're blaming about how you're feeling, but the way how this is, you're trying to understand that. And when things to be in that perspective, that's all you can do. But you have to have your own regulations of how you're feeling in that way. So you have to believe that in order to do and understand that. And you have to understand about how it goes in that way. You have to believe it in order to do that. That's how it goes. And when you do that, that's the way it seems to be. Because you're trying to figure out, okay, this seems to be happening. Alright, I know what to do. But that's how it goes in that right. You have to believe in order to do that, right? That's how it goes, right? So that's how it seems to be. So let's see what's going on for you, Aries. Let's see what's going on. So let's see what's going on here. So Aries, this is for you. So we have the Three Pentacles up right there. Is basically excitement. You being excited. That's how it goes. You might be talking about something in that way. So there might be a three-way party here, maybe, but that's how it goes. So you might be dealing with a Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus in that way. The Lotus reverse, you already made decisions already. That's how it goes. That seems to be. Same ones reverse. There's no silence. You're not having that. How it goes in that way because that's how it is. The Knight Cups right, there's romance here because you're feeling like all wonderful and be lovable and all that stuff. That's how it seems to be, and that's how it goes. The Emperor reverse, you have no structure. You don't know why, but that's how it goes in that way. And the Chariot reverse, there's no progress, right? That's how it goes. So you have to understand the way how it is in that way because everything has to be all great, but this is how it goes. So let's see what's happening. Let's see what's going on with this Three Pentacles here. The World reverse, there's incompletion. Queen Pentacles reverse, there's no insecurity. Ten of Cups reverse, there's no deja vu moment. But Three Cups over, there's excitement, yeah, because you want celebration. There's a three-way party, So maybe you might be after Scorpio, maybe it might be that, but that's how it goes. You're trying to, how it goes. You're trying to have your own realistic of how it goes in that way, and you think, alright, everything's going to be fine, but this is how it goes. You need to understand that, and when you believe it, that's how it goes in that way, is you're trying to have a maintain of how you're feeling in that way. It's like, oh, everything seems to be fine, alright, I know what to do. Yes, but there are things that you must learn first in order to do that. You're trying to know about what's going on in that way. It's like, alright, everything seems to be fine, but this is how it goes in that way. You have to understand that in the way how it goes. What's reading this Lover's card? The Four of Pentacles reverse, for the Three Wands is upright, for the Lover's reverse, for the Moon is upright. Yeah, so there's some misrotations here, because this is like the Moon energy. This is how it goes. The Three Wands is upright. There's communication because you want to be communicated. That's how it goes in that way. It's like everything seems to be fine, but you know how it goes. So you might be doing Leo, Aries, Sagittarius in that way because you're trying to focus on how you're going to be doing in a way how it is. It's like, okay, you're going to go with the flow. When you do it, it's like, alright, everything's going to be fine, but you understand about how it goes in that way. You're trying to be even. You're trying to do what it is. That's how it goes in that way. What's this Seven of Wands here? Queen of Cups here, there's no empathy. Knight of Wands, sorry, there's no maturity. And Five of Swords is upright. There's conflict, yes, because when you have conflict, you're not going to get what you want, but you're trying to retaliate of how you're feeling in that way. Because if you're showing that you have immaturity, if you're not being immature, whatever it is, you're trying to be that who you are, and you think that everything's going to be fine, but it's like, no, it's not. You need to understand that. And when you do it, it's like, how you're going to have your own, expectations to understand about how it goes. You're trying to figure out what's going to be happening all at once, because that's how it goes, right? There's a ways about knowing what to do, and that's how it goes in that way. What's this Chariot card about? Two Pentacles separate, you're balancing two things at once. Six Pentacles separate, there's kindness, and the Two Wands is separate, there's basically you're planning on something, what to do next, because that's how it goes. You're trying to be virtue. You're trying to know what it is. You're trying to believe that everything's going to be fine, yes. But you have to understand that, where things to be in that way, because you're trying to know about your own expectations, because you have to understand that. That's the way it goes. And when you do it, that's how it seems to be, because you're not trying to do, vice versa. You're trying to get what you want. You're trying to not play games, but the way how this is, you're trying to understand that, right? That's how it goes. What's happening with this Knight of Cups here? The Three of Swords reverse, there's no heartbreak. Devil reverse, there's no obsessions. Page of Pentacles reverse, there's no invention. But the Ace of Cups are, there's basically romance, right? There's basically prosperity of romance here. So you might be dealing with another Scorpio, Pisces, or Cancer in that way. But you have to go with the flow, right? That's how it goes, because you're trying to know how it is, because you're trying to figure out what's happening in that way. That's how it goes in that way. What's this Emperor about? The Knight of Cups is upright, there's romance here. Seven of Swords are, you're feeling deceit. The Ten of Swords reverse, there's no conclusions. Magician reverse, there's no skill. Two of Cups is upright, there's romance. And there is friendships in that way, but you know how it goes, because you know what it is, because this is seems to be. It's like everything seems to be fine, yes, but you have to understand that, right? You have to go with the flow. And when you do it, that's the way it goes, because you're trying to know what's happening in that way, because you need to understand that. You're trying to figure out about, oh, okay, I know what to do, alright, this is not going to happen again, but the way how this is, you need to understand that. That's how it is. And when you have your own level, you pay attention to it in that way, right? No matter what the outcome is, but you understand that in that way. You need to understand that in that whole entire way of being specific of what you want, what you get, what you need, but you have your own priorities to understand that. What's between the middle of this situation here? The King of Wands is upright. So there might be passion in that way, or there are things that you understand that. That's how it goes. So what's between the middle and the left side here? Hangman reverse, there's no restrictions. Nine of Swords reverse, there's no trauma. Five of Wands reverse, there's no chaos. Magician's upright, there's skill. Five of Swords reverse, there's no conflict. Sun card reverse, there's negativity. Yes, because you're between that. It's like you had conflict, but then you're not having conflict. So whatever it is, Aries, you pay attention to it no matter what. That's how it goes. And when you do it, that's the way it's going to be, because everything can flip. That's how it goes. And when you do it, it's like you're trying to stay positive, not the negative at the same time, right? That's how it goes. Between the middle and the right side, please. Justice reverse, you're not telling the truth. Ten of Swords already, there's conclusions. Five of Cups already, there's grief. Strength card reverse, you're not being brave. Four of Wands is alright, there's basically celebration. Yes, it is, because you're being scared, you're whimpering, you don't know what to do, but you're trying to face your own beliefs. You're trying to understand how it is and how it takes in that way. It's like everything seems to be all surprising, yes, but things are not going as planned, but that's how it goes. You're trying to understand what it takes, because that's how it seems to be in that way. What's the middle of this situation, please? Two of Pentacles upright, yeah, so you're balancing two things at once, but that's how it goes, right? That's how it's going to be, and you're trying to carry on with the situation no matter what the outcome is, but you have to resist of how you're feeling. So what's on the left side here? The Chariot reverse, there's no progress. What's in the middle? The High Priestess upright, you're using your inner voice. What's on the right side? The Hermit card, you're looking for a soulmate. Alright, so The way how this is, Aries, you have to pay attention on what's happening in that way. Whether you have a soulmate or not, or you're feeling solitude, but it is, that's how it goes. What's this Chariot card about? The Emperor's Reverse, there's no nourishment. The Moon is upright, there's misrotations here. And Love is upright, yeah, because you're making decisions. When you're making decisions, you know how it feels, because that's how it goes. It's like everything's going to be fine, yes, but there are things that you must learn first in order to do that, because you have to crave what you're doing in that way, right? That's how it goes. What's between this High Priestess about? The World Reverse, there's incompletion. Just Reverse, you're not telling the truth. Strength Reverse, you're being brave. Not being brave, but the Chariot's upright because you want progress, yes. So when you are having no justice, you're not telling the truth. But the way how this is, you are trying to tell the truth. You're not trying to make up lies. You're not trying to, that's how it goes. But there are things you must learn first. In order to do it, that's how it goes in that way. And you have to understand that. That's the way it seems to be. And when you do it, that's how it kind of occurs. Because there's one thing that leads to another, And when you do it, that's the way it seems to be, So you're trying to figure out, everything seems to be happy all at once. Yes, but things are not going as planned, That's how it goes. What's this Hermit card about? Your Fortune Reverse, you're having bad luck. Star Reverse, there's misrotations. The Hierophant is upright, there's guidance, yes. So when you're having the way of having bad luck, or you're having that things are not happening all at once, it's like this is how it seems to be. This is how troubling it is. And when things are not going as planned, it's like, why you keep doing it? Why you think that everything seems to be fine? Enough is enough. And when you do it, that's the way it seems to be in that way, right? That's how it goes. What's this Lovers about? The Death card is upright, there's endings here. The Magician's Reverse, there's no skill. The Hermit Reverse, you already have a soulmate. The High Priestess, you're using your inner voice. Exactly. When you're using your voice, you know what it is in that way, because everything's happening all at once. That's how it goes. And when you have your own limitations, or whatever it is, if you're focusing on Scorpio, or whether you're focusing on something else, you're focusing on about the word blame. You're focusing about what's happening in that way, because everything is not going as planned, That's how it goes. What's this Chariot about? The Tower is upright, there's transformation. The Devil is upright, there's basically addictions, obsessions, or whatever it is, because you want attention. Maybe you think that everything's wrong, but then you have to try to understand that. You're not trying to have violence, but that's how it goes. It's like you have to believe in order to do that. If you have a success, you know how it is in that perspective, because that's how it goes. It's like things to be happening all at once, but you have to understand that. There are ways that you need to learn in order to do that. That's the way it seems to be. This is like how it's going to be, but this is like divine timing, So you might be dealing with another Capricorn as another earth sign, but the way how this is, you need to figure out what's going on and happening all at once. That's how it goes. What's this Hierophant about? The Emperor is upright, there's structure. Star Reverse, there's misrotations. The Emperor's Reverse, there's no nourishment. Judgment Reverse, there's no action. Wheel of Fortune is upright, you're having good luck. Yes, because you're between having good luck and bad luck at the same time. But the way how this is, you need to understand of how it goes, in that way. So in that own platform. What's on the left side? The Seven of Swords Reverse, you're not feeling deceit. What's happening in the middle? The Two of Cups are right. There's relationships and friendships, alright? What's on the right side? The Five of Swords Reverse, there's no conflict. Alright. So what's happening with the Seven of Swords about? The Knight of Swords Reverse, so there's no drama. Knight of Cups Reverse, there's no romance. The Star is upright, there's inspiration, because you're going to wish upon something. That's how it goes, Aries, because you pay attention to it. You have to have your own self-discovery about what's going on, and when you do it, that's the way it seems to be, alright? Everything seems to be happening all at once, but this is how it goes. You're not trying to get, nitty-gritty. You're trying to get what you're doing in that way, and you have to understand that, because you're trying to go with the flow. And when you do it, that's the way it seems to be, all at once. That's how it goes. What's in the middle of the situation? Now, once you realize there's no fear. 10 swords are right. There's conclusions, and nine swords are right. There's trauma here. Yes, that's how it goes, right? So you are in between conclusions and trauma at the same time. but you have to go with the flow, Aries. You pay attention what you're doing in that way, because everything has to be all great, but you understand that, right? There are ways they need to consider in order to do that, right? You have to figure out from the start, the middle, and end, just like a story, right? But you have to follow your own rules to understand that in the way how it goes, right? You have to use your own ways about considering who you're dealing with, but that's how it goes in that way. You have to go with the flow. And when you do it, that's the way it seems to be in that way, right? So you have to understand that there are ways they need to learn that in order to do that, right? You need to achieve what you're doing in that way, right? You have to go with the flow. That's the way it seems to be. What's this Five of Swords about? The Fool is upright, there's change. The Emperor is upright, there's structure. Yes, it is. So when you do that, you're trying to understand that you're trying to have the back and forth of this situation, whether you like it or not, whether, everything is going to be complying to you. But that's how it goes in that way. What's on the left side? The Knight of Pentacles here, so there's no trust, alright? What's in the middle? Two of Swords here, so you already know which path you're going to take. What's on the right side? The Three of Pentacles here, so there's no celebration or no excitement, but that's how it goes. So let's see what this Knight of Pentacles is about. A1 reverse, there's no speed. Empress reverse, there's no nourishment. The Death card reverse, there's no endings. Three of Cups reverse, there's no excitement or celebration. Eight of Pentacles reverse, there's no, you're not being perfect, but you're having the Ten of Swords is alright, because there's always these conclusions. It's like, why I keep doing this, why I keep doing it, because that's how it goes. You have your own reality. Get yourself a reality check, That's why it seems to be that. And when you do it, that's the way how it goes in that way. What's this Two of Swords about? The King of Swords, alright, there's knowledge here. Nine of Cups, alright, there's fulfillment. Yes, how it goes. So you might be dealing with in their Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. You might deal with in their Gemini, Aquarius. There are things they need to understand that in this whole entire way, because you need to understand that, right? This is not me being fooled by you, nothing like that. But the way how this is how it is. It's like there's ways they need to learn in order to do that, because that's how it goes. You need to understand that. And when you do it, that's the way it seems to be all at once. That's how it goes. What's this Three of Pentacles about? The Moon reverse, there's no misrotations. Page 1 is alright, there's invention. Page Cups reverse, there's no loyalty. 7-1 is alright, there's basically you're feeling resilience. Yes, because things are not happening all at once, but this is how it goes. You're not trying to be having your own nitty-gritty, but how it goes in that way, right? That's the way it happens. So let's see what this universe is saying here. So I'm going to go from the middle to left, middle to right. So Ten Pentacles here, so there's no vision, so you already have a career. The King of Cups, alright, there's support. Page of Pentacles, alright, there's prospects. The Wheel of Fortune, you're having bad luck. Ace of Pentacles here, there's no growth. Queen of Swords, alright, there's independence. Yes, you're showing your independence. So you're doing things that you most desire, and you understand that in the way how it goes. Even if you have support, even things are going as well, that's the way it seems to be. So everything is going to be all good, but you understand that in the way how this is. That's the way it seems to be. What's between the middle and the right side? A1 is alright, there's speed. 7 Cups, alright, there's a delusion. 5-1 reverse, there's no chaos. 3 of Swords reverse, there's no heartbreak. The is alright, there's decisions. Yes, you're going to make decisions. That's how it goes. Between the heartbreak and the chaos, let's see. The Page of Cups here, there's no loyalty, but the 6-1 is alright, there's achievement. Yes. So when you have achievement, you have to understand what you're doing in that way, right? That's how it goes. And when you do it, you're trying to level or do what you can, because you're trying to figure out, all right, this seems to be happening. All right, I know what to do. All right, because this is how it goes, right? Everything has to be all needed, wanted. That's how it goes in that way. What's the middle of this situation? 5 Cups, sorry, there's grief. Yes. So the way how this is, the way how it is for you, is that this is how it seems to be. So You know what, Aries, before I let you go, try to pay attention about this whole entire reading. Try to understand with the way how it happens, how you're feeling, how it goes, how it's going to be occurring, whatever it is. And you need to understand that because, you know, level by level, between if you're feeling happy or you're feeling, how it goes, everything is going to be, being as planned. But the way how this is, you're trying to accept what you want, what you get. But if you feel like you're having blame or you're, having your own sensitivity, whatever it is, you need to understand that, right? You need to understand about how you're feeling in one way or another. You're trying to understand about what's going happening, and you know this is why it happens. You're not trying to procrastinate. You're trying to not put things in the back burner. You're not trying to leave things, how it is. But the way how this is, you're trying to pay attention. Whether you feel like everything seems to be fine, it's not. And you have to understand that because you have to think that this is a very interesting way about how you're feeling. This is the way it is. So this is the way it seems to be. But before I let you go, try to pay attention about this reading. Try to understand that. Try to, how it is. But this is seems to be, right? And when you do it, that's the way how it is in one way or another. So I hope you all like this video. Please give it a like. Please leave a comment if you want. And I'll see you next time. So thank you so much. Have a good day. And I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye for now. Really, thank you. And bye.